how your interest started becoming in this security specific.
It is my sister who introduced me to this whole field because she told me that developers are the good candidates for this kind of a role and all, because you already have coding experience, you know how to build applications and all.
Give brief about like how was your college life and what you did in college.
I didn't do engineering. I am a proper BSc graduate, Bachelor of Sciences. I did it in computer science. I did my MCA, like I said, from BVRIT. And
So tell me about your interview experience, and in interview what questions interviewer asked to you, MSc, and then you shifted it to MCA. If there is a problem, if anybody is switching from MSc to MCA.
nothing as such, man, because the subjects and the curriculum would most probably be the same from BSc to MCA and everything. So when I was in college, I had this program called Microsoft Student Partner Program. So Microsoft, what they do is they select students as ambassadors to their products, and they ask you to deliver sessions on these products in your colleges. And
हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। मैं आप सबका अपना होस्ट नितिश। आज मैं फिर हाजिर हो गया हूँ अपने ब्रांड न्यू पॉडकास्ट के साथ। आज के हमारे गेस्ट है रविंद्रा। इज करंटली वर्किंग एज अ सिक्योरिटी सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर एट माइक्रोसॉफ्ट। आज हम इनकी जर्नी के बारे में जानेंगे। इन्होंने ट्रांजिशन किया सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर से सिक्योरिटी इंजीनियर, कितनी डिफिकल्टीज फेस करने को मिली और कैसे कैसे इन्होंने प्रिपेयर किया कि आप सिक्योरिटी डोमेन में ये जा सके। तो स्टार्ट करते हैं। हाय रविंद्रा, प्लीज इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ।
hey Nitish, first of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and a chance to talk and share my experience and my career related learnings and everything. So hey everyone, I am Ravindra Penumarthi. I currently work as a security software engineer at Microsoft. I did my master's MCA from JNTU Hyderabad. I did it from a college named BVRIT, which is very well known in both the Telugu states. So I initially started my career as a .NET developer. I used to be a developer on Windows Phone, if you all remember. I used to develop apps on it and slowly migrated to being a full stack .NET developer. I used to work on ASP.NET, MVC, Entity Framework, and all these things. Then I shifted my career from being a developer to a application security engineer at the mid of my career, around like 4 years when I was touching that experience. And from the last 7.5, 8 years, I've been a AppSec engineer, and that's been my career so far. And yeah, we can deep dive as we go on.
How your interest started becoming in this field?
In security, you mean?
Yes, in security specific.
So I didn't know initially that there were so many opportunities when it comes to security and all. Just like everybody else, when I heard the word ethical hacker, I used to imagine something from the movies only, like people wear hoodies and black glasses and start hacking into CCTV cameras and all these things. But I didn't know exactly what that is and how people do it and all. It is my sister who introduced me to this whole field because she's a HR, so she was hiring for penetration testing profiles and all, and she told me that developers are the good candidates for this kind of a role and all, because you already have coding experience, you know how to build applications and all. So this field is about finding vulnerabilities in it and all. So once she gave me a glance, that's when I started looking into this field. I tried understanding what penetration testing means, what static code analysis means, and everything. And then the interest triggered in me, and I wanted to switch my career from there on, because at some point I was getting bored of development. It is the same old projects that you're doing, different kind of functionality that you're implementing. I wanted something else as a part of my career. I wanted to pivot into a different role where I might want to explore different areas. And also, that's when I found interest in this whole application security space. I wanted to get into penetration testing and all. And that's when, luckily, I found an opportunity with ADP. They were looking for developers into security. They had this program called static code analysis, where they wanted hardcore developers who could do static code analysis, basically read the code and understand and find vulnerabilities. So I luckily found that position and got into that role, and from there on my security journey began.
So just give brief about like how was your college life and what you did in college.
Yeah, sure, man. So I didn't do engineering. I'm a proper BSc graduate, Bachelor of Sciences. I did it in computer science. I knew that with a bachelor's degree like that, I might not get good jobs, and also I immediately went to a master's degree. I did my MCA, like I said, from BVRIT, and in both the bachelor's and master's college life, I never properly went to college. Actually, I was more focused on trying to get some internships and hands-on practical experience. I was more of a hands-on knowledge seeker guy rather than an academical person. That's why my academic record isn't that great. And also, especially when it comes to masters and all, I was focusing more on workshops, trainings, attending conferences, and trying to meet people and all who are already in the industry. My whole idea was to convert my academic life into a professional life, and that conversion isn't that easy as we all think. Given that I didn't have that great of an academic record, and also I was trying to look for opportunities on where do I get an internship, how do I learn more and more coding and everything. So my focus was entirely on that, and gladly I had faculty members who could support me throughout that journey and all. They gave me all the opportunities, saying, "Okay, go explore whatever internships that you find." And also, during my second year in my masters, I found an internship, and that internship converted to a full-time employment, and that's how I landed my very first job actually.
So tell me about your interview experience, and in interview, what questions you interviewer asked to you, like you did in the first role, you did previously MSc, and then you shifted it to MCA. If there is a problem, if anybody is switching from MSc to MCA.
Nothing as such, man, because the subjects and the curriculum would most probably be the same from BSc to MCA and everything. So uh, there were repetitive subjects actually. Whatever I studied in my BSc, most of them were repeated in my master's. So since I was already familiar with them, I had the freedom of skipping classes and all and focus on workshops and everything. So when I was in college, I had this program called Microsoft Student Partner Program. So Microsoft, what they do is they select students as ambassadors to their products, and they ask you to deliver sessions on these products in your colleges and make communities across in your city and everything. So back in 2011, 2012, Microsoft Student Partner Program used to be at a crazy level. Nowadays, it's called as Microsoft Student Ambassador, I think. But back in then, it was called MSPs, and every college in Hyderabad had at least 2 to 3 MSPs here. So we had this large community going on. We all were meeting regularly. We all were trying to, deliver sessions and everything. So I used to be a very active person in that community. I used to develop apps and I used to train people on how to develop applications and everything. So there was this startup which was working with Microsoft academical program and all. So that startup was looking for people who were making apps and everything. So that's how they found me. And when I showcased my applications to them, they were really impressed and they asked me on how did I build the application. They asked me to debug the code, show me what was your implementation and everything. And I did run through the entire code and showed them what all libraries I used. How did I pull up this particular functionality and everything? How did I deploy the apps onto the store and everything? So that's how the interview process went, and they were pretty happy, and that's how they gave me an internship. So as a part of the internship, I used to visit all the colleges across India and deliver sessions on Microsoft technologies like mainly Windows Phone and Azure basically. So especially to IITs and all, where we used to conduct these hackathons, and we used to deliver sessions and ask them to build overnight applications or come up with a prototype and everything. So that's how my entire internship went. I was working closely with Microsoft Developer Platform Evangelism team, where we traveled across India. IITs, NITs, triple ITs, you name them. I've been there. I delivered sessions. I met so many students and I got their first apps done through Windows Phone and everything. So slowly I became a full-time employee in that organization only, where not just Windows Phone apps, but I started migrating into web applications as well, full stack developer role basically. So that's how my entire internship and first job landed.
So, like you, after your first job, you did so many jobs in other companies. So, what types of technologies and tool you are dealing with, and but what role you are in, and the responsibilities and roles of any job. Please explain in more detail, like what you did.
Okay, so first job, I worked for a startup called EduConnect. It was a tech-based startup. Like I said, it's a partnered company of Microsoft back then. Now it's not anymore. So in that company, my primary role was to build Windows Phone applications and also web applications based on the client's projects and everything. So the primary tools what we used to do was the .NET and C Sharp framework. Visual Studio was our go-to tool for anything and everything. So we used to develop everything on that. And after that role, I moved into a company called Purple Talk within Hyderabad. It's also a mid-level startup which dealt with predominantly mobile applications. So they wanted a Windows Phone developer, and I joined their Windows Phone team. So there, I obviously was using the same old tools and also got into this cross-platform mobile application building. There was a tool called Xamarin back then, and we used to write code once and deploy it on all the three phones, Android, iOS, and Windows Phone. So it was like a cross-platform framework thing that I was working on. So at this point of time, that's when I kind of started getting bored of the development aspect and everything. I was like, I've done enough. I wanted something else. That's when I got to know about this security role from my sister actually, and that's when I pivoted to a company called ADP, which is one of the largest conglomerates, Fortune 500 company actually, which deals with HRM solutions and payroll and everything. So I joined their security team as a source code analyst, and slowly they are the ones who trained me properly on whole penetration testing and source code analysis aspects and everything. Because I had this dev background already, I could understand things very easily. I was able to quickly pick up things on when it comes to web application security and everything. I know how to build. I started learning how to break and all. So that's how my career turned out to be a dev plus hacker kind of a career and all. And after that, I landed the job at Microsoft, which has been my dream company since my college days because I was a student partner. I worked as a vendor to them as well. So I always wanted to get into Microsoft and all. And today, finally, I'm there, and I've been working there since the last 4 years.
What actually you did in Microsoft, and what position you hold in Microsoft right now?
So I'm a security software engineer too. It's basically an equivalent to an SDE2 role. So my predominant responsibilities would be more around conducting application security reviews. I work under Azure security basically. So whatever platform services Azure has, we do their security reviews and everything. End-to-end review of all those things. We do threat modeling, we do penetration testing, static code analysis.
Please give you overview like how you do these things for beginners, how they learn.
So, okay, I'll give it a generic overview. Can't deep dive into details and everything. But let's say you have an application, whatever xyz.com or something. Firstly, what we'll try to understand is we'll try to do a threat modeling of it, like understand what its architecture is, understand where all threats would coming from, what kind of solutions are in place when it comes to different kind of threats and everything. So we do an initial threat modeling and all. Once that is done, then we start diving into the source code basically. So we have bunch of tools that are inbuilt that we run on that particular source code repository and try to understand. There's a lot of manual code review also that we do where we try to understand the business flow and everything. And then we start doing this whole penetration testing aspect, that is the DAST of it. DAST concept basically. We try to understand the OS top 10 vulnerabilities basically, and also much more vulnerabilities beyond that, seeing based on the business functionality of the application what all vulnerabilities are applicable and trying to exploit them and everything. Then we build the whole POCs and everything, and then we present it to our dev team saying, hey, these are the vulnerabilities we found. This is the criticality of each and everything, and we ask them to fix it basically. So as a generic overview, that's how we do it. Start from the threat modeling and do SAST and DAST and everything, and a lot more as well.
So, how difficult is domain switch for you? And please tell your interview experience around this. If you are switching from the software guy to security guy, and what type of interview question you tackle?
Okay, so the switch was actually easier than I thought. Actually, I thought it will take a lot more time because I have to learn a lot of things and everything. But because I came from a dev background, I understood the nitty-gritty details of development. I know if you give me a task, I know how to implement that as a part of a web application development specifically and everything. So my interview was more focused towards the security of it. Like as a developer, they were asking me, how do you secure your application? Let's say I have a login form and a registration form, and I'm trying to store data into the database and all. Where do you put all these connection strings? How do you encrypt your data? Where do you store those keys and everything? So they were giving me different kind of scenarios and asking me more on security related questions. Suppose if I'm logging in, how do you maintain the session and everything? If someone is tampering with your session related data and all, how do you prevent that? So more on security focused questioning basically, which I was able to do well at, in those interviews and all. So the transition was very easy because I had this whole development experience, and they were also not expecting too much of security knowledge from me because they wanted to hire a developer. If they were expecting to hire a proper security analyst, then maybe the interview would have been much more tougher and they would have drilled into a lot more security aspects and everything. But specifically, they were asking for a developer role. a developer skill person. So that way, my interview experience became easy. Once I moved into the job role, that's when things started getting difficult actually, because I had to understand these vulnerabilities. And for each and every vulnerability, they made me do a demo application. Suppose, let's say SQL injection. They asked me to build a small little feature which has a UI. There is some data going into database. I'm running some SQL queries and also I had to build a POC. And on top of it, I started attacking it on my own. So I understood how to craft your payload and everything. The same way for cross-site scripting, the same way for directory browsing and all these things. So majority of the vulnerabilities during my training phase, the first 6 months they gave me as training phase and everything. So I implemented a lot of these vulnerabilities practically on the applications, and that's how I understood. Okay, so this is how the code is breaking here. This is how the vulnerability is coming up and all. So slowly, once my training is done, they started involving me into more and more actual security reviews work and all. And I worked there for like 4 years and gained good enough experience actually.
Okay, as you told earlier to me, like you started the Null chapter in Hyderabad. So what you do basically, and what your and role responsibilities you do in Null chapter.
So I didn't start Null chapter. Null was there from a very, very long time. So Null is one of the largest security communities across the globe, actually. So people from all the security domains, it could be SOC, threat hunting, it could be threat intel, penetration testing, malware, anything, compliance, GRC, all these people come together so that we share knowledge with each other, and this is all for free and everything. So Null has chapters all across the world, and in India as well. Every city has its own Null chapter and everything, and Hyderabad has been one of the very active chapters from a very, very long time. And I've been a part of this chapter for the last 3 years, and I recently became one of the chapter leads and everything. So what we do is we try to maintain this community, we by conducting sessions and all, where we share our knowledge. Hyderabad has a large security presence actually, because there are so many IT corporations across Hyderabad. Every corporation has security team based out of Hyderabad actually. So that gives us a lot of people who are there, and we wanted to bring them together so that we can start sharing knowledge, or build our network basically. So what we do is we conduct something called as a monthly meet, where people can come, they can participate in the meet and listen to different kinds of sessions and all, and everything is for free. You don't have to pay anything or. And apart from that, we also conduct hands-on workshops. One is called Hamla, which is like a offensive workshop where we ask people to get their laptops, and we try to do an offensive workshop basically. And the other thing is called as Bachao, which is hands-on blue team workshop basically, where we try to build defensive controls and detective algorithms and everything. So these are predominantly the three things that we actually do. This is different to the Nullcon that happens every year. Nullcon is an annual conference that happens in Goa usually, which is more of a commercial event and everything. So, but our regular chapter work and everything is free basically. So the whole idea is to build a security community and start sharing knowledge, and also that we can help people with whatever knowledge we have, and also learn from other people at the same time and find new opportunities basically.
So which talks and conferences you attend, and it is benefit for beginners to attend and part of these conferences.
Definitely, I would definitely recommend people who are not even just beginners, who are into their mid career, and even at senior levels as well, to attend conferences and all, because that is one way where you will know what's happening in the outside world apart from your actual work and all. You will get to know a lot of people. You can talk to a lot of people, network with them, and collab with them for various different things and all. So I attended a lot of security conferences. Nullcon, like I said, one. There is a group in Bangalore called B-Sides. B-Sides Bangalore is also a very well-known group, and I recently been to their annual symposium as well. And Microsoft does Blue Hat actually, which is one of their flagship events, and usually that happens in USA only. But last year we did it in Hyderabad for the first time, and it was a massive, massive success. I got to meet hundreds of different people and all, and apart from all these conferences and all, we have this Null community that we do, which does monthly meets every month. We do, apart from the COVID 3 year period, last 10 for 12 years we've been super, super active. Every month we've been doing these monthly meetups and all, and people turn up in large numbers actually, and on an average our Null meet would have around 200 people coming up easily. So That's a lot of presence to come on a Saturday morning and everything. So these are some of the conferences that I been attending, and I would definitely looking forward to attend something like a Black Hat and all in USA or DEF CON, something like that. So definitely recommend people to attend these conferences so that you meet people in the industry and you can get your queries resolved or collab with them on different projects or ask for mentorship or look for opportunities and basically learn stuff what's happening in the world apart from your real world work. You can get to know what's happening, what is the next set of things that are coming up, where you can start investing into that and understand what skills it would take to get to that kind of a career, so that you are already prepared for the next kind of changes and everything. So yeah, definitely recommend people to come for conferences and all.
So like currently you are pursuing your master degree in cybersecurity. So why you think to like right now you're doing masters in particular to cybersecurity while working as a security engineer guy, and how you manage the time in between?
Right. Good question. So my master's that I already did, Master of Computer Applications, it was more like a dev focused degree actually, because most of the subjects that I had were dev focused, more on object oriented programming, software architectures, database programming, and everything. So at an academic level, I was very good with coding concepts and all. That's how I became a good developer actually. I can write really good code and all. But my switch to security was in between my career, and I came from developer to application security and all. Of course, with regards to AppSec and everything, I know quite a bit of it. I know nitty-gritty details of it and all, but there are so many other aspects of security, like SOC is there, threat hunting is there, network security is there, endpoint security, infra security, and all, where I'm not very well versed. At least I thought, when I assess myself on a lot of things and when I look back and see what I'm doing and how am I doing, I thought these are some of the areas where I would need to gain more and more knowledge. So I thought instead of doing a certification or something like that, I wanted to get to the root level of these things and understand from a academic point of view. Because when you learn from academic level, that is the root level, like the basic. So that's when I started looking for any courses on such, and that's when I found this course in Bits Pilani actually, which gives a master's MTech in software systems, which had a specialization called security, and they had all these nice security subjects and all. And a couple of colleagues of mine have already done it, so I spoke to them for a very long time and understood what kind of subjects they chose, and I did ask why did they do it and all, and what was the value they got from it and everything. So I was super convinced that this is the right way to go and all. And yeah, I enrolled this year only. I'm currently in my second semester. So like you said, it is tough to manage time because the classes are on the weekends only. 8 hours I'll have to dedicate on my weekends for these classes and all. And there are quizzes, there are assignments also, like a normal college. I have to do these assignments along with my work. So your work schedule and everything will take a toll. You'll have to sacrifice a little bit of your personal time for these and all. But I thought I'm doing it for a good reason. I would gain knowledge and everything. So yeah, maybe one this year and next year, if I sacrifice, I'll get more confidence on some of these subjects. Maybe if I want to explore my career opportunities into a different field, I thought this will be a good start for me. So that's why I wanted to get into this, and I've been doing it so far. Hopefully, I finish the degree. So
That's great. So आपने like you work on different companies. So how you choose any company? What are the parameters you have to choose any particular company? Like you have five or three offers, and how you choose to particular company?
okay, so I might not be the right person for that because I've never interviewed at multiple places. If I wanted to get into one company, I was interviewing to that company only. And if I don't get an offer, I'll prepare and come back to the same company again. So when I wanted to switch from ADP to Microsoft, I didn't interview anywhere else. Actually, I was giving interviews at Microsoft only, and I gave interviews for 3 straight years. I was preparing, getting rejected, going back, preparing again, and coming back. So I didn't give anywhere else because I know that I might not join that company and all. I didn't want to waste their time and uh, kill my time and everything. So I was very well aware. And even before coming to Microsoft, ADP opportunity, because I was looking for a specific skill that I wanted to get into security and all. And ADP was the company which was hiring for security roles and everything. So I didn't give anywhere else interviews because nobody was hiring developers to security roles. That was the only organization. So yeah, I gave interviews only there, and that's how I got it. So interviews are one place where I was very particular, saying I don't want to waste time of people unless and until I'm very sure that I want to join that company. I never gave an interview actually. So I never had multiple offers where I had to choose from an offer and all. I never did that actually. So I was very sure like this company I want to go, and I gave interviews only there.
So, which resource you follow on a daily basis to stay updated and learn new thing?
So definitely one is X, that is Twitter. Actually, I'll follow a lot of different categories of people on it, and I do get up to date on it. The second thing is I am very active on LinkedIn actually. So I see so much content coming out of LinkedIn and all, and I know it's actually getting spammed a lot these days and everything. Apart from that, we do have multiple sources of news bites basically coming out. I do follow so many of these news bite channels and all where I see what's happening in the outside world. I try to understand, okay, so this is what's been going on. I do talk to bunch of my colleagues on all on a regular basis, apart from the work related stuff, so that I am updated on what's happening across me and everything. So it's mainly from X, Twitter is one of my sources, and LinkedIn is one of my sources. YouTube, I do follow a lot of channels, especially when it comes to security and development, and also my newsfeed is filled up half of it with security content actually. So I understand that, okay, so this has been happening. This is a vulnerability that's coming up day in and day out. And a lot of people I know whom I admire and I want to, reach to that level and all. I follow their blogs actually and their write ups on LinkedIn.
How anybody build their resume and showcase their project?
Actually, a good question. So for me, I was very in detail actually. If you look at my previous resumes and all, nowadays there is that concept of fitting everything into one page so that HR or whoever is the hiring person will get a glance of your entire skill set within 6 seconds or so. That's what they say. But I didn't follow that route. I wanted to write a lot about my work and my kind of projects and everything. So my resume was way beyond 2 pages and everything, and I kept it that way because I wanted people to look at the different kinds of work that I've been doing, because I had this dev experience where I did multiple projects and all. Then I had this security experience where I was involved in different kind of things and everything. So I kept it very in detailed, and also given the fact that I'm a lateral hire, I'm more than 10 years of experience, and also you would want to see what exactly has happened in the last 10 years. And also if I have to sum up 10 years worth of work, I don't think one page would be, sufficient for me at least. So I was in detail, but not like essay writing skills and all, but at least I made bullet pointers and all so that people understand that I know these are the areas that I worked upon, these are the things that I know, and this is the kind of, learnings that I had and everything. So yeah, right. If you ask me, put everything that don't restrict yourself to saying one pager. You have to fit everything and all. It's fine if it's going beyond 2 or 3 pages, but ensure that there is no spam content or repetitive content. If it's unique content and if you want it to be highlighted as a part of your resume, where it adds value as a part of your interviews and all, do mention that. And definitely people would want to be interested to know more about it. So they might ask you questions on it. So that's been my experience, because I did take interviews here. I did give interviews, and also whenever there is something that you put on your resume, people would want to know about it. And also definitely mention if you have done projects, and if there are if you push them to GitHub and all, give those links. If you have cracked so many virtual machines or hack boxes on THM, write about that. And if you have cleared these many challenges on Portsfigure Labs and all, write about that. So whatever you do apart from your actual work, if you're doing anything external, like I've been a part of Null chapter, I do a lot of community work and all, I do write about it. I do write a line or two about it so that the interviewer would know that, okay, there are efforts going in that direction as well. So that way, you can uh, summarize all your experience so far and you don't miss out on pointers. And there could be certain areas where the interviewers might feel that is a necessary skill to have, and they might drill you more on that.
So right now you are working in Microsoft. Please tell me about the work culture in Microsoft and why it is important nowadays.
So Microsoft, I do not have to, explicitly tell anything more. I think yesterday only Forbes rated Microsoft as the best place to work in the entire world and all, and I second it. I definitely agree with it. Like I've been working here for the past 4 years. I'll be finishing 4 years next month actually. So the culture is entirely different, because I also come with experience from different companies before. Then the culture is totally different out here. They give you the freedom to explore a lot. They give you time to build on yourself. Microsoft follows something called as growth mindset, basically, where if you feel you are lagging and all, They give you time to, grow. There are mentors who will help you. They invest on you, saying, okay, I am there to help you out. If you are lagging on something, take my help. Definitely, I'm there to help you out. And they ensure that, you are performing well. So when you're working at a company like Microsoft and all, there are no low performers or high performers. Everybody is a top level performer only. So if you want to be at that level, it will take some time to get onboarded and everything, but there is help available always. People will give you time. The managers and everyone are, super supportive of your kind of aspirations. It's not like once you join the team, you're going to stick into this team forever, all your career and all. If you find a different opportunity within Microsoft, they have policies which allow you to, go and interview and join a different team. And the transition is also getting smoother and all these days. So many policies, the benefits. If I start talking about the benefits and all, it's gonna take a long time. Like Microsoft is one pays really well and all, not just in terms of salary and all, the other kind of benefits, health benefits, and the facilities on campus. Hyderabad's campus is one of the largest campuses outside Redmond actually. So the amount of facilities that they have when it comes to gym, or even the whole environment within the campus and everything, makes you do a lot better actually. They care about your mental health, the leave policies and holidays. When it comes to that, there is no restriction as such. If you want to go on vacations and all, it's not like you have to take permissions and all, nothing like that. You can talk to your manager and take as many days off as possible. And they're all super supportive. Everybody has empathy. They understand where you're coming from. If you're going through a tough time and all, they give you that leeway where, okay, even if you're not delivering on those results, your well-being is more important at that point of time and everything. So I experienced that. Last year or so, I had a little bit of a tough time, and my managers have been extremely supportive on in terms of that. They gave me time to recover from all of that and do much better actually. So workplace wise, I tell you, the best place to work. And it's always been a dream for me, because when I was in my college days and all, I was a student partner. So as a part of student partner, I used to visit the campus a lot of times. I used to interact with a lot of Microsoft employees and all, and I saw the kind of work that they are doing and everything. So I always aspired to be at Microsoft, and today I'm working there. Like since the last 4 years, I've been working here. So I tell you, I'm living that dream. And whatever you hear about Microsoft outside saying it's one of the best places to work and all, is actually very true. As an employee, I can tell you that. Yeah.
So one last question, like as you currently working as a security software engineer, so please define the roadmap of security software engineer. Like if anybody beginners trying to become the security software engineer person,
Right.
so what are the things they need to know on a intermediate beginner level and the advanced level, the whole roadmap.
Okay. So basically, security software engineer, if you take a look at the title itself, it says you are a software engineer, but in terms of security. So you need to know both software engineering as well as security engineering there. So when it comes to security engineering aspects, if you are wanting to be a application security engineer like me, you have to know what web-based vulnerabilities are, basically OS top 10 and everything. Understand how at a root level these vulnerabilities are actually arising. What is the main issue when it comes to these things, like at a deep level, and also understand how to fix them. See, our job is just not about finding vulnerabilities. Our job is also educating developers on how do you fix those to make the product more and more secure. That's the agenda here. It's not like, okay, these many bugs I need to find and all. Great, you are finding bugs, but the idea is to educate developers. So also you need to have that skills of understanding how do you fix those vulnerabilities, how do you educate developers, how do you bring more and more awareness across developers on how do you fix the vulnerabilities, and how to make products secure in the first place, because devs there focus more on building products but not securing them. So that's where you'll have to fill in the security role basically. The other aspect of it is software engineering. Like I said, in a security software engineer, you should know coding. If you ask me, if you're a pen tester and if you don't code, then I might not, entirely consider you as a pen tester and all. Of course, you might be having great pen testing skills and all, but unless and until you code, you wouldn't understand the nitty-gritty details of it. So if you are a beginner who would want to come into this whole field and all, first start with coding, I would say. It's not like you have to do a DSA level or an SD level coding and all, but some kind of coding where you understand. If you're interested in web apps, you should know how to build web apps and all. Take any stack. It need not be one particular stack and all. You should be able to build some UI, some backend, some APIs, database interactions and everything, and understand the architecture and everything. That way, you will understand security more easily and more in depth. Actually, if you ask me. So If someone is aspiring to be a security software engineer, they have to know both the ends of it, software engineering as well as security engineering. As a part of my role, we just don't find vulnerabilities and all. We do a lot of automation. We build a lot of tools actually which help us in identifying these vulnerabilities. So in order to build tools, you have to write code basically. Tools, whatever the functionality that you're trying to understand, you have to implement that as a part of the code. So that's where you will need to write a lot of code actually. So for beginners, I would say start with coding at least. Any framework or any language, try to learn the basics of it where you can implement some things from it. You should also know a little bit of scripting, bash, or Linux based scripting, or even PowerShell or something like that. And then slowly start understanding web based vulnerabilities and beyond that as well. Like when it comes to operational related vulnerabilities, pipeline related stuff, and also slowly you can expand on it. But yeah, software engineering plus security engineering. Start from there if you want to be a security software engineer.
थैंक यू सो मच, आपने इतना वैल्यूबल टाइम दिया मैं, थैंक यू सो मच इतनी वैल्यूबल इंफॉर्मेशन शेयर करी.
Thank you so much, Nitish. Hopefully, people will find value from this, and yeah, glad that you gave me this opportunity.
सो आई होप आप सबको आज की हमारी वीडियो काफ़ी इन्फॉर्मेटिव और काफ़ी हेल्पफुल लगी होगी, काफ़ी कुछ जानने को मिला होगा कि कैसे ट्रांजिशन आप कर सकते हो सिक्योरिटी इंजीनियर से सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर, या फिर आपने बीएससी कर रखी है वहाँ से एमसीए, और इस फील्ड में कैसे आ सकते हो, और अपने जॉब के साथ साथ आप कैसे मास्टर्स की डिग्री परस्यू कर सकते हो. अगर आपको कोई क्वेश्चंस हो नीचे कमेंट कर सकते हो, और मेरे से 1-to-1 सेशन लेना हो, आप टॉप मेट की लिंक दे रखी नीचे, वहाँ से सेशन बुक कर सकते हो. सो तब तक के लिए स्टे ट्यून, स्टे हैप्पी.